Hello, this is Angie Burns, the owner and publisher of the Burns Team City Lifestyle, and welcome to City Lifestyle with Angie Burns. We love to celebrate the best-in-class businesses, the organizations making a difference in our community, and the individuals who are making an impact on our residents here in our area. Hello, and welcome to City Lifestyle with Angie Burns. I am Angie Burns, the owner and publisher of Allen, Plano, Rockwall, and Flower Mound City Lifestyle Luxury Publications. And our guest today is Scott Smith, who is the owner and arborist at Joshua Tree Experts of Collin County. So welcome to the show,
Thank you very much.
Or Scott with Joshua Tree. I do that all the time.
I get called Josh all the time.
I was going to ask you, do people think that your name is Josh because it's Joshua Tree?
It's probably 75% of the time.
I would assume that. So tell us the story behind why it's called Joshua Tree.
The owner of Joshua Tree Corporate in Pennsylvania, they've been around for about 20, 21 years. His name is Josh.
His name is Josh. Yes. I was thinking it was biblical from like something along the lines.
I roll with that sometimes. Yeah.
I thought it was, but I guess I was wrong.
Sure.
So his name was Josh, and then he franchised the business and just kept it.
Yep.
And said everybody is now Josh.
Yes.
So so we have a Scott and we have a Chris, because we also have another Joshua Tree partner in one of our publications. Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure I've called him Josh as well many times.
I was also called Chris for a little while too.
Were you? Yeah, you guys look alike. That's one of the things that I've noticed also is landscaping and tree guys. You all look alike and you all wear a lot of flannel.
I'm not wearing flannel today.
You're not wearing flannel today, but I know there's another tree guy in the Plano chamber with you and I, and he wears flannel and looks like you, and and Chris looks similar to you. Yeah. I actually met with another one of our clients out in Flower Mound the other day, and he made a comment about how the Joshua Tree guys all look like underwear models. And I was like, okay. I was like, I can see that.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, you should take it as a compliment, because other people notice as well that you all have everybody's like, I wouldn't mind watching them in the tree. It was very funny conversation, actually.
I don't climb in the tree, but...
You don't climb in the tree. All right, so tell us a little bit about what you do with Joshua Tree.
So I am the owner and the arborist of Joshua Tree, Collin County. We have been in operations for about 6 months now. But like I said, the organization has been around for 20 years. And being able to learn and be able to build out a tree care company with the expertise of them has been phenomenal. So as the owner and arborist, I am out running sales appointments. I'm networking at different events. I'm in front of the customers on a regular basis, talking to them about, the concerns that I see in their tree or in their roots, or whatever I can find that might be concerning the customer on how we can take care of the tree. And then we prescribe the right solution to solve those concerns, build out objectives of how we can actually prune them properly, provide the right nutrients. Are there diseases or pests in the tree that we need to make sure and manage? And then put together that full plan. And that plan could be, just pruning, could be pruning and fertilization, could be pruning, fertilization, and pest control. And it could be, just this year, or it could be a 5-year program. So we're kind of basing, how do we build the program based on the diagnosis? So yes, sort of tree doctors.
Yeah,
where we're actually
so essentially you're a doctor for the trees.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the difference between an arborist and the tree doctor versus a landscape company? So when should somebody call you versus calling a landscaper?
So I was going to go 2 different ways with that. So landscaper specifically are usually working anything 8 feet and below. And so they're not going to have the right equipment. They're not going to have the proper insurance or anything like that for the actual climbing in the trees and pruning the tree in a proper way. So we partner with other landscapers to be able to say, hey, we can take care of the trees anywhere from, just pruning the lowest canopy and just raising canopy, which a lot of landscapers do, versus climbing in the tree and actually pruning the right places in the tree to maybe redirect some of the growth to be in a better spot. Then there's the other side of like 2 chucks in a truck that are just coming and knocking on doors that are pruning trees. And they're typically, yes, they're climbing in trees, might not be properly insured, which is a big liability for homeowners. But then also typically pruning them in a very unhealthy way. So they're stripping out the inside of them and taking out all the internal growth. And then we call that lion's tailing, where they're actually pruning them and they're just leaving a lot of leaves on the end. You just have one long skinny limb, a bunch of leaves at the end. Makes it very unhealthy for the tree for multiple different reasons, whether it's high winds that acts like a sail and it can break. So during our spring storms coming up, but also, the tree needs internal growth to be able to do the proper photosynthesis whenever they're getting stressed out by summer and the heat of summer. So the proper pruning, or let me go about it, the improper pruning can very well cost you your tree.
Right.
It's going to be cheaper today. But more than likely, pruning it improperly will make you call them back every single year. Pruning them properly might cost a little bit more now. It's a little bit more of an investment, but it's an investment for a huge value of your property, as well as not having to have us out, but maybe every 3 or 4 years for an established tree. So over the length of time, we actually are cheaper.
Saving you money. Yeah. Absolutely. You told a story the other day that I found fascinating about somebody who had called you out to remove a tree. They were like, our tree is dead. Come remove this tree. And then when you got there, you were like, can I save this tree instead? So what does that look like? And how often does that happen?
Not super often, but so when we went out there, it was not an established tree. It was probably 5 years old. And the diameter of the tree was anywhere from 5 to 7 inches. And she was like, well, all the leaves fell off really early this summer.
She thought it was dead.
She thought it was dead.
Yeah.
It didn't have any leaves on it. And this was August of last year. So it should have leaves on it. So it was a cedar elm. And so I had looked at it and I saw that there were evidence of pests in it. I saw that it had a big mound of mulch up there. So we call that just volcano mulching, where they put way too much mulch. The tree was buried too deep and covering the root flare of the tree, where you want to have that uncovered. That's actually how the tree does a lot of its breathing. And I said, well, look, I see some evidence of life. And I did a little scrape test. I'm looking at it all the way around the tree, and we're diagnosing it. I say, look, I know you want to remove it, but are you willing to make a small investment to try to save it so that you don't have to pay the $1,500 or $2,000 or more to remove and plant and wait the 7 years for it to get to this size? So she was willing to make that investment. So I removed all the extra mulch and uncovered that root flare. I added a premium soil enhancer around the base of the tree, and I also hit it up with some insecticide. And she called us back up last week. I went and looked at it, and it's got some beautiful buds on it. That just gives me chills. And
like, it's so pretty. I brought it back to life.
Yeah, and now she's like, I would like to prune it. And so we are a tree preservation and tree care company. If somebody asks us to remove a tree, I'm going to ask them why. Many times. Like, what is the reason? What is the objective for removing it before I'm going to say yes? Sure, I could take the job. But, I'm going to try to talk them out of it because, the costs and just the overall, the more trees we remove in our community, the less green our canopy is as a community. And trees, bring life. They bring, plenty of places for birds and other insects and everything else to live, and just continue to improve our canopy. So, that was one callback that I loved getting.
Have you always been this invested and interested in trees, or just the biology, ecosystem as a whole? Did you know this is what you wanted to do when you grew up, or is this something that you just kind of fell into?
No, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what
I still don't know what I wanted to do.
I love doing this.
Yeah.
A lot of my background is in digital product management. But if I go back further, I was in Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. I did backpacking. I'm camping all the time, learning about trees and doing all those things, getting my arborist merit badge and that stuff. And I look back at it now, I'm like, how much I was interested in it then, and always looking at the trees as I'm backpacking or something. And then for many years, it was a hobby of mine. I was learning about trees. I was learning about my landscaping, learning about how to take care of my grass and my plants and everything else what's the right fertilizer to put down? How do I prune this right? And so I'm learning about it and doing it myself. I'm like, well, don't a lot of people say, how do you turn a hobby into a career? As long as it's something that doesn't turn into a job.
Right.
And right now, you know, as I sit here right now, it's not a job. I mean, it's something that
it's a passion.
I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm ready to go. And like,
5 o'clock in the morning. That sounds miserable.
Yeah. And you know, we're getting the crew kicked off at 6:45. We're getting out to that first job. And you know, like, I mean, today was daylight savings and like, so it was dark outside, you know, but, so I look back at it and I see, all right, I did have passion for it, and I have had a hobby for it. And so now I'm able to kind of take all that learning that I did over 40 years and put it into something that I can bring to other people. Yeah. I think.
And I love that. And your tagline is, you know, love where you live. That's one of the things that I hear you say often. And I think that is very true, is because your trees do make such a big impact. And I've heard you talk about how it makes the value of the home go up, how it just makes the aesthetics of the home a million times better when they're live, healthy trees. But talk a little bit about that value piece. Like, when somebody has healthy trees, does it truly equate added value in a home?
Absolutely. There are plenty of studies out there that show, I'll actually be a little bit conservative. I've seen a study that says the established trees, maybe 30, 40, 50 years old, can add 8 to 12% of value to a house. So you're in $1 million house, $120,000 worth of trees in your front yard.
Yeah.
You lose those, the value can plummet. A lot of people are buying houses because of the big trees in their front yard. Right. I've talked to real estate agents that are representing buyers, like, have me out to come do an evaluation of the tree before you buy this house. Okay. Because if the tree is a main reason why you're buying this house, you want to make sure that it's going to be there for the extent that you live there. Right. And too many times I have seen where I come out after the house is purchased, and I say, that tree is sick. Yeah. That tree has been badly taken care of. It's going to take us, we can pause the sickness. We can't get rid of it. We can clean the tree and make sure it's pruned better. But it's going to take years. Right. For it to get healthy. Yeah. And so just the aesthetics, the actual appraisal value of the house, and just how much you love spending time, either front yard, backyard, whatever it is. I mean, everybody has that, you know, like American dream picture where there's like a swing in the tree in the front yard, right? The kids are playing and all of that. It really does. It adds value to the quality of life that people are living by having those healthy trees. And I will tell you from personal experience, at my house, having an unhealthy tree can also be a very, very big task to deal with. When we first moved into our house, we had a very large unhealthy tree, and it was just an eyesore. And we had people come out, and eventually we did have to just get rid of that tree. But I wish that somebody had done something beforehand to save that tree, because it was big and beautiful, but there was just nothing that we could do for it at that point. And once there are signs of issues like that, oftentimes it is too late. Yeah. So what are the signs people should look for? When do they need to call you? What are some things that people can say, my tree might be sick? Well, before I get there, let me say, like, there are 2 times people usually call us. Okay. My tree needs to be trimmed, and my tree fell on my house. Okay. But then, and in Texas, that tree fell on your house happens often. Or a big limb or whatever it is. Yeah. So a lot of people are now asking, insurance isn't even covering houses that have limbs over houses anymore. Really? And so, we're helping kind of reduce back in a healthy way without just chopping them off. But like I said, oftentimes signs that show that it's sick, it's already too late. Okay. If you see on the base of the tree or even in the grass, any big red mushrooms, that is called Ganoderma, and it is the signs of rotting in the tree. Okay. The rot is irreversible. We can't just get rid of the rot, but we can start to help the tree compartmentalize and heal around it so that the rest of the tree can continue to move on. Yeah. But it's never going to go away. Okay. If you see black spots on the side of a tree or on a limb, It's called hypoxylin canker. So that's good. You know,
it's a lot of very big words.
Yeah, sorry, I'll try to use smaller words. So it's a fungus that you can see on a tree. If you see white mushrooms, white spots on a mushroom, or I mean on the tree. Pests, things to look for is if you're standing underneath the tree and it feels like it's raining, but it's a beautiful blue sky.
Yeah.
That's not the tree that's actually misting on you. Those are all the insects that are actually in there that are sucking on the nutrients of the limbs and the leaves, and then excreting a honeydew, which is a sticky, sugary substance that can get on you, on other trees, other shrubs, on your car. Yeah. And that's usually the biggest sign is like, I park underneath my car and it's always sticky. This tree keeps making such a mess. It's not the tree, it's the insects.
Interesting.
So that's sign. And then insects are usually attacking disease and already the tree being in distress, because most insects are very lazy. They're not going to go after living tissue or anything like that. Anything else like that. Especially boring insects. Very lazy. They're going to go after dead. And boring insects are usually, especially like emerald ash borers type of insect in ash trees. If I start seeing dieback in the top of an ash tree, that's too late.
Okay.
If it's more than 10 or 20% of dieback, we can't really reverse it because the borers are already taking over the canopy. So just some of those types of things we're looking for. Every time we're looking at a tree, I'm looking for all of those things. I'm not just going and looking at it from afar. I was like, oh, it's going to cost you this much to prune it.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to look roots, trunk, the root collar, the trunk, the leaves, the limbs, the way the canopy shape. Is it thin? Is it, does it have enough leaves? What color are the leaves? All these things. That's what we do in the full assessment.
So people need to be proactive in calling you and don't need to wait until there's a problem to call you. They need to call you to maintain the trees. Is there ever a time where it's too soon to call you? Like, oh, I just moved in this house, I planted a new tree. No. Like, you can come out as soon as the new tree is there?
I guess planting the new tree, there's small things there. If they bought it from a tree farm that has a 1-year warranty, if anybody else but them provide any sort of products to that tree, the warranty is going to be out the door.
Good to know.
But sometimes what we do for the tree might be better than what they might get So are you willing to risk that warranty or not?
Right.
But us being able to provide great root nutrients to let the roots establish faster.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of times trees are just not planted well, unfortunately. Do
you replant them? Like if they aren't planted well?
Not right now.
Or do you just tell them?
Well, so what we can do is try to fix the way that they were planted in a way.
Okay.
So a lot of times a quick tree planting, they're not going to dig the hole big enough. So make sure they're digging the hole 2 to 3 times the size of the root ball. Make sure that they're loosening up the root ball because those roots need to be loose so they can start going into the ground, because a lot of times they just pop it in and just cover it up.
Yeah.
But that root ball has been in a bucket for months or years, and it's just tight and compact. And they're never going to get loose. And so too many times I've gone to a new tree and I can shake it, and it's multiple years planted, but it's still never taken root.
Wow.
So there are things we can do to loosen those up we call it air spading or root excavation. Blow a high power air spade. We can loosen up all the soil around there. We can grab some of the roots and start directing them away and start to try to fix that.
Okay. You were just a plethora of information on trees. Yeah. It's good. I love it. Yeah. So he is clearly the expert with Joshua Tree Experts, Mr. Scott Smith. So thank you so much for being here today and chatting with us about all of our trees and the health of our trees. Tell people how they can reach you if they have a question about their trees or would like to be proactive in taking care of their trees. You can tell our viewers right there.
Oh man, there's so many different ways. You can find us on Facebook, joshuatree.com, or Joshua Tree Experts, Collin County. Find us on Google. You can call me directly. I don't know if you want me to leave my cell phone number on here. All right.
If you want,
Yeah, give me a call. 469-969-5024 is my direct cell phone number. I'm happy to set up a time to come take a look at your trees for you.
And what areas do you personally service?
So we are kind of in this whole central corridor from University Park all the way up to Prosper. So Dallas, Richardson, Plano, Allen, McKinney, Prosper.
So Collin County, North Dallas County, all of that area there. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you all learned something today, because I know I sure did. And we will see you soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
If you are looking for the best place to market your business to our local community, we are a nationwide brand, so we have over 200 publications across the nation, and we really do value high editorial integrity, beautiful photography, and making sure that your story is told in a respectable and beautiful way. So if you would like to learn more about how to become an advertising partner of City Lifestyle Publications, feel free to reach out to us because we are your ticket in the door to get you face-to-face with your next client.